just getting the stream sorted, and then I'll go ahead with the intro and get ourselves underway because I think everyone's raring to go. So that'll be interesting. I think I'm live. I am live. Got that up. And now what I will say is a big hello and a welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You join me once more for the APPF1 Sprint Series. We are here for round number 4 of what has already been a chaotic season of racing. Last weekend saw one of the best races in APPF1 history. The top 3 separated by a mere 2/10 as they crossed the checkered flag. However, coming into this weekend, it is MX and his incredible consistency leading the way in the Drivers' Championship, despite Ghost's run of winning 4 races so far. His penalty in Singapore, demoting him down to P8, has really let him down. Tonight we head to the US of A and Japan for our venues tonight. First is Kota, a circuit engineered to be the best of everywhere, replicating Silverstone's Maggots and Beckett's along with Istanbul's famous Turn 8. Then it's Japan. We flip the grid on its head and go racing through some of Formula One's most iconic corners, those uphill S's being a mighty challenge for those drivers out there today. That's it, 6 races in, 6 races to go. It's all or nothing in this dash to the finish line in 2 weeks' time. I'm your commentator, Zach Sweeney. Buckle up and let's go racing. One-shot qualifying, as always. The normal proceedings today seems to be dry weathers in the skies of Dallas, Texas, I think, or it's Houston. It's Dallas, I think. One of the two. Don't really know where Kota is, I'll be completely honest. I don't really care where Kota is, to be completely honest. It's a good track, don't get me wrong. Probably one of the best things to come out of America, in all honesty. Doing a bit of NASCAR on iRacing earlier. It's challenging, but again, it's NASCAR. So, either way. Waiting for the drivers to load in and obviously get their setups on, get themselves ready. We'll always, as is tradition, go on board with our championship leader. That is MX in the Alfa Romeo as he darts his way down in towards turn 1. Well, I should more say up. Look at that steep incline as you slam on the anchors around that black box in towards turn 1. There's a variety of lines to take. Second gear and a late apex seems to be the route that MX wants to take. Down through turn 3, and then here comes the replication of Maggots and Beckett's through the left, through the right, through the left again, and you've really got to be committed. It seems pretty poor from MX as he struggles to get the car turned in, ending off sector 1 as he turns it through the left and then uphill through this long right where you've really got to be careful as to not unsettle the car. Then to the left and then downhill all the way towards the first the first corner before the DRS zone. It's turn 11. This will be second gear. Again, late apex. It's all about that drive off the corner. Once more, it's an Aston Martin 1-2. Rick heads the way from Ghost, Harry Bix, LB and MX now your top 5 in qualifying. Down this straight in towards turn 12, looking for that 100 board. Got to maximise the track on the right hand side in order to just carry that momentum, carry that speed through. Second gear, get the power down from MX. Brilliantly done as he heads in towards 13 and then 14, this little right hand kink, then downhill. This is then 15 and 16, very tricky corners but very easy to set a move up if you're clever about it. This is the Istanbul turn 8 replica through 17, 18 and then into 19. Bit of a snap though from MX and he's gone round the championship leader. A very uncanny turn of events for him as his consistency, his incredible run of consistency so far has now put him at the back of the grid for tonight's race. First race of 2, and it is Rick that goes on pole position, 3/10 ahead of his teammate Ghost in second place. Harry Bix comes home in P3 with Jack Lacko and LB rounding off the top 5. Great run of form from the Aston Martins in qualifying. I'm pretty sure one of them has been on pole every race so far this season. Rick from Ghost, 1 and 2, they lock out the first row. Great drive from both of them as Rick tries to remount a championship charge. Got off to such a good start with his teammate and just needs to have that consistency and run it through. We'll go through the entire grid. Right now it is Rick then, 2/10 ahead of his teammate Ghost, who rounds off the first row. Then comes Harry Bix in the AlphaTauri. Good run of form in qualifying from him as well. The Scotsman in the Alpine, Jack Lacko, P4 with LB rounding off the top 5. Then comes Tinos in P6 for Ferrari. One Wing, the championship leader's teammate, in P7. Lifebout comes home P8 with Aces and Kington in 9th and 10th. MX, the first of those that will get a free choice of tyre in P11. Then those that didn't set a lap time is Sumo, KTFO, Max and Pommy Alex and RJ Blair that round off the grid. RJ Blair for his home race in 16th place. Not the best place you really ideally want to be starting for your home race, but hey, at least you're going to put on a couple of overtakes and definitely give us a show for the home crowd. Really should have filled up my glass of water, really. But hey-ho. We get ready then for lights out of 14 laps, I believe it is, for a sprint race here at the Circuit of the Americas, or COTA, as it is more informally known, I suppose you could say. But yeah, in towards turn 1, it's just a crucial uphill battle as you have to just get the car, and that's why the start is so important here. You say it at every circuit, the start is important. It really is. You know, you can't win a race on lap 1 by any means, but you can certainly lose it. And that uphill battle, the car's going to be slowing down. That's why you need to build that momentum, build that speed up as you go up in order to not be susceptible to ascend. Because look as you go in, look at that, the red as it is here. It really does widen up into turn 1, really has got the opportunity for ascend, and then again just completely closes in as you exit the corner. So you can send one to the inside, and that's what I was saying. There's a lot of different lines you can be taken into into turn 1 here. And then, of course, you've got 4, 5, 6, and 7 all in quick succession. That's the Maggots and Beckett sort of replica. As I said in the intro, the COTA is engineered to be sort of the best of everything in a sense. You know, you've got bits from here, bits from there. Bits from here, bits from there, sort of compiled up into some hybrid circuit, and that is exactly what COTA is, and it certainly has delivered some really good races. Look to 2018 when Ferrari and Kimi Räikkönen took their win, his first in 113 races, the longest streak between wins in Formula 1 history. Some people don't even have careers that are 113 races long. Kimi has gone that long without a win. I think actually Alonso might take that title. It's been a while since we've seen him on the top step. But I'm not entirely sure. Maybe soon, because he hasn't raced in every race since then. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure. It's one of the longest. And for sure, Forest 4, Leicester 1. Not really. Some people will care more about that than I do. Let's put it that way. But yeah, they head in towards the cambered corner. This is very easy to lose the rear end. You've got to be careful, especially on that first lap when your tyres are cold, your brakes are cold, and you're not really in that rhythm yet that you're going to be so acclimatized to being in. But yeah, Rick, you can see, does not want to be taking any chances, doesn't want his teammate to be playing any games, but in all honesty, Ghost can see an opportunity to retake the lead in the championship fight. Of course, he was very dominantly leading, of course, winning 4 of the races so far this season, 4 of 6 really, and he's just been so dominant. The other one goes to his teammate, and the other I think goes to MX. I'm pretty sure. I'm not entirely. Is it cool? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I'm gonna come take APPF League. Most Saturdays I'm sort of busy, unfortunately, Lewis, but I definitely would love to. It's just a case of being busy and things like that. Otherwise, I certainly would. And I don't want to not commit to it, unfortunately. But I hope you do find some. There's some great commentators out there. But nonetheless, we have a race to look forward to. We go to the 5 red lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights to the USA Grand Prix race. Race number 1 of tonight is underway, and it's a good start from Ghost from second place on the grid. A good second phase as well. Is he already alongside his teammate? 2 by 2 they go. 4 abreast to the backside, but goes to the inside. Rick trying to cover him off. The Ferrari of Tinos trying to make some places up as well. Rick around the outside keeps the lead. Harry Biggs now trying to put some pressure on Ghost in towards turn 2 as they battle their way through turn 3. LB as well going up the inside of the AlphaTauri, side by side through the S's. The Red Bull of Aces and Tinos as well going side by side. There's absolute calamity, and Lifebout is out of this race already, and we're only a couple of corners in. Will that be a safety car? Will that be a VSC? Or can the stewards and the marshals get that cleared up? But it's Rick that leads from Ghost. Then comes Harry Bick. LB up a place. Jackalacco rounds off the top 5. Then comes Aces. A great start from the Red Bull. Looking to the inside and making it one more. Jackalacco gives him the space, but not quite enough. That allows the Red Bull to commit to it. KTFO also side by side with an Alpine as they run up towards turn 12. This is Ghost also looking to the inside of his teammate down in towards turn 12. The Aston Martins, no love lost between the two, and Ghost down the inside. Rick tries to keep him there, keeps his foot on the outsiders, then quickly the inside for 13, and Rick comes back up the inside of his teammate. Ghost going to go for the old under and over, the old switcheroo, side by side towards 14 and 15. This cambered corner, Rick and Ghost still side by side. Rick trying to force his teammate off the circuit. Ghost has none of that. Back up the inside for the Istanbul turn 8 remake. 17 17, 18 and 19, and they're still side by side. Rick back up the inside of turn 19, and Ghost has nothing to say about that at all, apart from to tuck back in and just live with it through turn 20, and Rick is on an absolute charge. LB trying to hang on from Harry Bix, who again is fighting him very hard. Here comes Ghost. Rick having to go defensive once more as we start lap 2 to the outside of turn number 1. Is he going to go for the switcheroo once more? Rick goes in deep. Ghost says thank you very much, got the better exit, and it's the outside of turn 2, quickly becomes the inside of turn 3, but as they go towards the X's, the S's, Ghost has to say, nah, I choose life, I choose to stay in this race, and he's not going to pull at me through Maggots and Beckett's. I had to throw that in there somewhere, sorry. But no, yeah, great racing between these two, great fight between Rick and Ghost in these opening stages, and they are really not giving anything at all. Rick wants this win, Ghost wants this win, and the more they fight, the more Harry Bix is going to be pulled into this. Jack Alacco as well, trying to put some pressure on LB as they head through, but no, once again in the slipstream, Ghost and Rick going to be having to go about it. Down in towards turn 12, this long back straight, the slipstream going to be pulling Ghost along. Rick having to go defensive all the way to the white line. Ghost pulls out late to the right hand side. It's the long way round once more. He's later under brakes, but Rick has the inside, the dominant line, claims the corner and stays in front for the time being. Great racing, as I said, between these two, and that's what the sprint's all about. It's the great racing that we always see between even teammates that are fighting for a Constructors' Championship are still going side by side and absolutely hammered to the floor and not giving anything up between the two. How's MX getting on? MX is doing great, up 3 places, up into P8, trying to minimise the damage on his championship fight, and that's Harry Bix round through turn 18, and he's gone, and has he hit the wall? Has he lost some of that front wing? Will he have to pull into the pit lane? It was a pretty hefty crash, pirouetting a couple of times as one wing goes through, and into the pit lane comes Harry Bix. That is a shame after a very good start. DRS is enabled this lap 3 of 14, so Ghost is going to have his job made slightly easier this time around on that run towards turn 12. All he needs to do is stay close, stay within 1 second as they battle their way through the S's, through the left, then the right, then the left, then the right again, and then the long right-hander. Rick needs to absolutely nail this. Let's have a look at the telemetry. How's Ghost and Rick doing? In fact, the ERS, the energy recovery system, that extra 160 brake horsepower really favours Rick at the moment. It's usually Ghost that has the advantage in terms of ERS, but this time around it's Ghost who has a good exit off turn 12, very close, but is he too close to really utilise that slipstream? Rick already darting to the left, trying his absolute hardest to defend. He wants to keep this race lead, neither of them using their ERS. Here comes Ghost to the right hand side, he's just slingshotted past, and back into the race lead goes Ghost. Jack Alacco to the outside of LB in towards turn 12 as well. The Alpine having to concede the position, going to go for the under and over, get the drive. LB seals the deal and stays in P3. Rick struggling now to stay with his teammate, stay on terms with his teammate. It seems like Ghost has got the better race pace of the two Aston Martins, and all Rick needs to do is stay within 1 second, and he's really struggling to do that at the moment. Really is struggling to do that at the moment. Only within 8 tenths, he just needs to recompose himself. Yes, he's lost the race lead, taken the IndyCar line. Very interesting race lines the IndyCars take through turn 19. It's mind-boggling how they get away with it, but they do. Build the track. Ghost sets the fastest lap at 34.984. Rick trying his best to stay with him, using his ERS, using that DRS in order to reclose the gap. Jack Alacco is going to come back at LB for round number 2. A little bit too deep for turn 1. Can the Red Bull get the drive off the corner? Yes, he does. Brilliant switchback, textbook switchback from the Red Bull. And now they're going to be side by side. Red Bull versus Alpine in towards the S's. Who's going to concede? It's going to be Jack Alacco on this occasion. In fact, though, the Red Bull goes in a bit too deep, sets Jack Alacco off his rhythm, and this could invite Aces to sandwich the Alpine in the middle. Of course, it's Red Bull bread and Alpine meat in the sandwich. Don't get me started, and don't get Lewis McGlade started on that conversation either. But nonetheless, Rick is in the DRS of his teammate, in the slipstream of his teammate, and he's certainly got the ERS in order to launch an attack down in towards turn 12. But both Aston Martins have been at it all race long. We're on lap 4 of 14. Ghost goes defensive. Rick goes even more to the left-hand side. Back up the inside of turn 12, and Rick responds the lap later and gets him back. Jack Alacco as well, having to fight with LB. A big lockup from the Aston Martins, but the Red Bull around the outside quickly becomes the inside of turn 13. Bit of contact between the two. No love lost, and they are really, really going for it. The Alpine going to switch late to the inside, but has to back out of it. Wasn't quite committed enough. The Red Bull gets a little bit scared though. And Haas sort of darts off his line, backs out of the corner. The Alpine straight back up the inside, sees a bit of a gap, not much of one, but puts the pressure on into turn 19, gives him the switcheroo, gives him that drive on this short run towards turn 20. LB taking that wide line, going to have that drive off the corner. Is Ghost going to launch an attack? No. So we turn our attention back to this fight for the final podium place, as Jakalako has now got the job done. Is LB going to launch one to the inside? Late under brakes goes the Red Bull. The Alpine sees it coming, preempts the switchback, absolutely nailed that, as side by side go the two Aston Martins in towards the S's. Ghost takes the lead of the USA Grand Prix, and how did that happen? How did that come about? And Rick is absolutely flabbergasted at that one, cannot believe his eyes, as side by side go the Red Bull and the Alpine, more so through the S section. We've got a spinner, there's a yellow flag. I think KTFO is out of this race, but great racing on display from all of our drivers inside the top 5. It's absolutely, it's just, there's nothing in it at all. MX is now in this fight. He could, in fact, get himself on the podium. Look at this train. It looks like we're watching MotoGP with Jacko, LB, Aces, Tinos and MX all in this just one conga line. As we've lost another car. That's Harry Biggs to the inside. Rick can't force a counter attack. LB comes back, and a safety car on lap 5 because KTFO has crashed on track. Oh no, Harry Biggs has crashed on track, unlike his teammate. So yeah, safety car, and I'm sure we're going to see every driver now peel their way into the pit lane, all on the soft tyres on the grid. So it's going to be a very busy pit lane, and you can see Rick already backing up as to not double stack with his teammate. That is why he needed to stay in front. He doesn't want to be held up in the pit lane and lose time to the likes of LB, Jacko, Aces, Tinos, MX. It's going to be hard for him to time this right. He's going to need probably, I'd say, 4 seconds in hand. You can see really back him up. The legality of this, you've got to stay within 10 car lengths, apologies, of the car in front. But on the anchors, has he got the gap? Will he be held up too much? No, he's not. He's going to get held. Going to be held for a long time. That is awkward. Not the longest, but it's a very busy pit lane. Simple for Ghost in and out. Rick's not only been held, he's also, you know, had to be held once more, and he's lost a place to LB and Jakalako, who now separate the two Aston Martins. LB into second, Jacko into third, so Rick has got his work cut out for him. MX up into fifth. He's gained from this pit stop cycle because, of course, Aces had to double stack, so he gained another place there. And we got TTV Max on the grid as well. Nice surprise to see the youngster here as well. Pleasure to have everyone who is tuning in to the stream, all 11 of you. Lovely to have you all in here enjoying this race with me. We're almost halfway through the first race of 2 tonight. After this, we turn the grid on its head, and the winner becomes last place at the back for the Japanese Grand Prix. With Max and Pommy Alex, the People's Champion in the McLaren, having a penalty. Not quite sure what's that for. 3 seconds, so should just be track limits violations. Pretty sure that's all it's going to be. Yeah, so far it's been a great race. Just added to that with the safety car, giving everyone a free pit stop. Everyone's on the same page in terms of going to the end on these tyres. In fact, if I was RJ Blair, actually no, you don't have time. I was going to say, if everyone was more spaced out, RJ could just go back onto the softs. He could easily get to the end. But unfortunately, doesn't have the time or the capability to do that. So if you are enjoying the race, do make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and definitely share around with your friends if you have anyone that might be interested in watching along with us all. I'm certainly in a good mood. I'm hyped after the old Race Room Rocket F4 series last night. Around the outside of Maggots and Beckett's for P3 on the last lap. I don't mind if I do. And now leading the way in terms of those that are eligible to race on the Austria leaderboards. For the time being, still a week and a half left to go. But not a bad start if I do say so myself. Not quite sure if safety car is going to be in this lap or not. We'll have to see because it hasn't really shot off. So not entirely sure as to what it's doing. No, we go out one more lap. If I was Blair, I'd come in. Why not? You've got nothing to lose. Go for softs. Do it. You know you want to, Blair. Do it for the crowd. I would have come in back for softs, but he obviously knows more than I do. in that department. Shameless plug, absolutely. Zuba, you were there, you saw it. So was Ghost and Vardy. They were both there as well. I think Bluey was as well, but I'm not entirely sure. But I'm proud of the move. I had to set it up, had to send him in deep through cops, get the switch through. I was like, ooh, don't mind if I do. Got it down the inside. And then keep it for the rest of the lap. My hands were shaking. Like, my palms were so sweaty, and I will not continue that line. But my palms were sweaty. My knees weren't weak. Actually, no, they were. When I stood up again, they were shaking a little bit. But, yeah, it was great. And then as I took my headphones off, just to, like, relax for a little bit, and all I could hear was my family in the front room just screaming. It was great. It was so funny. I was like, oh, for God's sake. I was like, as soon as I walk in there, they're just going to be like, wah, and I'll be like, ugh. But yeah, no, it was a good start. And, yeah. If you're interested, in 2 weeks' time, we've got the Red Bull Ring, the Austrian Formula 4 race. And, of course, if you are a UK citizen, 14 to 15, do get yourself involved if you've got a PC and are able to get onto a race room. It's free to enter. We certainly need more girls competing, just to make Lewis's life a little bit more easier in the commentary booth. I certainly have an easy job today. The easiest thing about being a commentator is intense races, is intense moments like this, because you're getting given something to talk about. When it's dull, when there's a safety car with nothing happening, you really have to just fill it up. So yeah, if Lewis can be gifted some more intense moments in the commentary booth, we'll certainly make him get his money's worth in terms of the action. Nonetheless, safety car is in this lap for the end of lap 7 on to 8. Halfway through, we've done half. We've got half of the race left to go. Ghost will lead us off from LB, Jacko and Rick, and then MX, your top 5. Ghost will retake the championship lead as it stands in terms of this race's results, because of MX's consistency and his ability to carve his way back through a field, similar to how Ghost does in the reverse grid races. But he's gone, he's punched it, he's tried to catch LB out, he's reacted pretty well, has the Red Bull, as we go green once more for the USA Grand Prix. It's been a hectic race so far. Ghost leads, unable to be pressured by LB or Jackalacco, pretty evenly spaced out in fact, but Tinos and Sumo are going side by side on the run up the hill towards turn 1. The Alpine having to tuck back in, and the Ferrari into 9th place, but LB is not at all giving up this place. Sumo's left the session, whether that's a connection issue or something other, I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Ghost pretty sizable lead so far, 8 cents ahead of LB, who's now being pressured by Jackalacco. So maybe the double stack in the pit lane is what's cost this race for Rick, and what's going to give Ghost a 5 out of 7 win rate. But we never know until it's over. Ghost hasn't won the race until he's crossed the checkered flag. As Aces sends one to the inside of MX, he's going to be bit frustrated to be going backwards rather than forwards as MX, but he's got this long straight towards turn 12 in order to launch a counter attack. You can see the Alfa Romeo closing and closing. The Red Bull having to go defensive to the left hand side, darting to the left hand side. Is the Alfa Romeo going to be able to dance that car the long way round? Does so in second gear, gets the power down nicely as well, but the Red Bull going to try his best to come back at him, unable to do so unfortunately on this occasion. So MX having to really look in his mirrors off this restart, as opposed to look forward, eyes front, and chase after the Aston Martin of Rick that he can see so vividly just in front of him. Yeah, after one lap of green flag racing off the safety car, it's Ghost that leads. Then comes LB, Jackalacco and Rick, then second, third and fourth. Then comes MX rounding off the top 5. Ace is 6th with TTV Max. A good result for him if he can keep it here. In fact, has got some good pace. In P7 might be able to get after the Red Bull in front. Then comes Pommy Alex in P8. Tinos P9 with one wing rounding off the top 10. Kington, Blair and Sumo, who has unfortunately lagged out of this race, in P13. We've lost 3. Harry Bix, KTFO and Lifeboat, the 2 brothers in the AlphaTauri, unfortunately unable to get through. And here's Scott. We've finally been joined by Scott. It's been, yeah, it's taken a while to get here, Scott. I think Scott hasn't got over his P3 for France on Friday for the Tier 1 Championship. Too bad he can't be doing the sprint championship, because he really would be the man to beat. It would be a lot of people's target to come after him. But nonetheless, we have to focus on Jakalako. His target right now is the Rebel of LB. He can see right in front of him that diffuser, that Honda, is getting closer and closer in towards turn 12. Looking to the left-hand side. How late can he be under brakes? Thought about it, but again, just couldn't quite commit and didn't want to risk a lock-up into the braking zone and, of course, then take him out. But Rick, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings in this race. This could really set him back in the running order and cost him a couple of championship points if he's not careful. P2 after Pens as well. Look at that. Goes in towards turn 20. Getting a good run, just keeping it consistent. This is a nice Sunday drive for him at the moment. DRS is enabled, not really going to matter for anyone. Well, for anyone trying to chase after Ghost. He's 1.6 seconds clear of the field. But for the likes of Jakalako, for the likes of Rick, it's going to really help them in closing that gap back down. The Flying Dutchman, the young Dutchman, who is not tall by any standards, is chasing after Jakalako and LB through the S's and giving his absolute all on those medium tyres. But you can see Jakalako as well really trying in order to close that gap. Scott, it is fully deserved, completely deserved. The fight for P2 though rages on, and we've got a what is this, a 5-car train? LB, Jacko, Rick, MX and Aces all fighting for it. A big slide from LB though. This could cost him the position with DRS, ERS and already alongside him towards turn 12. The Rebel trying to give the Alpine a squeeze as they run side by side down this back straight. The Alpine is ahead. LB going to try and fight it back though, tucking into the slipstream. Who's latest under brakes? LB tries to take the tighter line. Jakalako gives him the room, maybe stupidly, opens the door for the Red Bull to come through, but the Alpine has it covered. Bit of contact between the two as well. LB is going to be kicking himself with that move, but he's going to dummy to the inside of turn 15, sends it late under brakes, gets it stopped. Jakalako sees it coming. These two once again going at it, having those switcheroos side by side through turns 17 and 18 in towards 19 under brakes. Who's going to get it? It's going to be LB who can just turn across and take that race line, but certainly a good certainly a good race between the two, and through turn 20 LB still heads the charge, but goes 3 seconds clear of the bunch. Well done on your podium, Zach. I was watching on like a proud father. Of course you were. Oh, to the inside goes Jakalako though, gets it stopped once again. LB sees it coming, goes for the under and over, goes for the switcheroo, and Rick once more he's not got a way through, hasn't got a way to get his Aston Martin through, because these two are just taking up the entire track. LB though, a 3-second penalty to his name. That's going to drop him back a couple of places and could maybe stop Jakalako from attacking as much, because he knows that he's got a penalty. I'm going to win. I'm going to win this fight. I'm going to get him into second place. Do I want to be fighting this as hard as I possibly can be? Bit of a slide off the exit of turn 11 for Jakalako though. So Rick may be able to seize this opportunity, but Jakalako's DRS of LB is going to be his saving grace. Going defensive, the Flying Dutchman to the left has to go in even deeper though, because the Alpine discourages it to the inside. The Alpine the long way around. Jacko, the Scotsman, trying, and MX now wants to get involved, wants to slice of the pie and wants to get his nose in and get involved in the fighting. Rick unable to convert that move, and in doing so has cost himself quite a bit of ERS. But MX, his championship rival, darts one to the inside, tries to take the track away from the Aston Martin, but Rick, even though he's off the track, keeps his foot in and says, no, that is not happening. This is my corner, this is my line, and I'm hanging on to this P4. I want to head the charge, I want to get after Jakalako, and I will not be having this Alfa Romeo beating me in 2 championships, Tier 1 and the sprint. MX and Rick are going at it in a title fight. Aces as well in amongst the action. Jacko on the back of LB. 3 laps left of this race to go, 12, 13 and 14, but don't go anywhere afterwards. We have got the sprint, well, I say the sprint, the reverse grid race, race number 2 is what I'll probably call it. Race 1 and 2, reverse race 2 it is right after this. Ghost will be starting at the back, because I cannot see him losing this race. In all honesty, I cannot see him losing this race. Something has to happen to Ghost for him to be cost this race, and Ghost just doesn't do that. Ghost makes virtually no mistakes on his own. He's so quick, he's so consistent, and he's trying to launch a campaign for that fourth sprint title towards turn 12 once more. Down this back straight, the Alpine in the slipstream, in the DRS, not even using his ERS, and has got a run. The Rebel of LB trying to go defensive. The Alpine once more having to go the long way around. He's later under brakes, takes the race in line, and LB has got nothing to say to that one, as opposed to just tucking in and having to wait a while and go for it again in a couple of corners time, when he can have that DRS, the drag reduction system, and then utilise his ERS to full effect. His 5% ERS advantage as I nearly fall over onto the ground. Not the best idea to be doing. If you're commentating and you're stood up, don't fall over. Keep both feet firmly planted on the floor, as I made that mistake just now. Ghost leads us on to 13 or 14, the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. Rick trying to get himself onto the podium provisionally. He will drop a couple of places though. MX could, well, if he keeps it clean, really has got a good position in store for him, at least the podium. And if he can get well, yeah, it's definitely going to be a podium for MX, unless he makes, a mistake that costs him a couple of places. Through the left, through the right, through the left again for LB, blitzing his way through the S section of Sector 1. Rick now putting the pressure on. I don't think LB really has got the pace, but he's very good at defending, and he's using that ERS to latch on, and that DRS to just latch onto the back of Jackalacco and keep him pressured. And of course, yeah, equal on ERS between the two. Is Rick going to launch onto the inside? Don't do it, but has a look. That's going to kill his momentum, going to kill both their momentums. The Red Bull gives him the space. Rick may be doing that in order to kill both of their momentum, in order to try and launch an attack, but it hasn't worked. LB still has the DRS, and he's just gone. He's chasing after Jackalacco. He doesn't care about Rick one bit. And all this is doing is allowing MX, and that's desperation creeping in for Rick. That's him looking to get a move that really wasn't on. And yes, he's gotten pole. He's dropped down to fourth. He's going to send one to the inside again. Desperation. He's lost that run, lost that momentum. Look at how much he had to slow the car down in order to get it turned. And unfortunately, it's allowing MX to close up. We go on to the final lap of this Grand Prix in just a couple of moments' time. 20 corners left to go. It's Ghost, then Jacko 1 and 2, which is probably an unlikely sight, but the Scotsman definitely has got some good race pace. Up 2 places since the start. I think Max and MX have driven both fantastically so far, and for the entirety of this Grand Prix, up 6 and 7 places respectively. Rick wants to get back in front, as Max and Tinos going side by side. He's actually tried to go for the over and under, but Tinos was up the inside, parked it beautifully, and has dropped Max a couple, a place down to. And that RJ Blair and Monmouth going side by side. RJ Blair having to cut the corner. He wants a top 10 in front of the home crowd. Will get a top 8 in front of the home crowd if he can keep it clean for the rest of this lap. Once again, Rick looking to the inside of turn 11. The Red Bull gives him the space, but he hasn't got the speed to take the corner away from him. And if he'd have just waited, he was close enough to launch an attack. But Rick, desperation, desperate to get those moves done. It's going to cost him a place. He's going to finish 5th in this race. Actually, no, he's going to finish 4th because... Oh, no, he's not. I thought LB got another penalty. He didn't. It's going to be P5 for Rick, which is a shame. Because it could have been a win, could have been a second, could have been a third. But he hasn't played his cards particularly well in this race. And unfortunately, for him, that's how the cards have been dealt today. But one thing you cannot take away from this man is his absolute consistency. He's been incredible all race long, having that fight with his teammate, and has led for the entirety of this second stint. Did not look back after the safety car restart, and Ghost makes it 5 of 7 for the Sprint Series Season 6, and it's P1 once more for the Aston Martin. A few moments later comes Jackalacco, then LB. MX takes the podium in P3 after penalties. LB 4th and Rick P5. What could have been for the Flying Dutchman. Tinos P7, Kington P8, RJ Blair P8 as One Wing has spun off the final corner. No way has he done that. Inches away from the line, and there's going to be no points, and the back of the grid. Well, no, he's still classified, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Is he going to be reversed or not? Because look at him, he's inches away from the line. Where's his car? Is it still there? It better still be there. That is a shame. Poor me Alex weaving away across the line. Gets a bit of airtime as well. Then we've got to wait for Sumo's AI. But yeah, that sucks. Absolutely. So for one man. 14 laps of racing are done and dusted. Then that's race 1 in the books. And race number 7 for the season as a whole. We tick down the races, 5 left to go in this season, but don't go anywhere. We've got the reverse grid race in just a few moments' time. Talking through the results of the race 1, the United States Grand Prix. Ghost, the Aston Martin, a stellar fight with his teammate in the first stint, managed to get in front and control from the safety car restart that preceded that. He wins tonight for race 1. Jackalacco second with MX in P3. Then comes LB, the Red Bull, who put up a hard-fought fight for MX and Jackalacco and Rick as well behind. But unfortunately, 4th is the best that he can conjure up. Rick rounds off the top 5 from pole position. Not the result he would have wanted, but one that, you know, really could have gotten better. Some things played into his hands, other things didn't, but unfortunately that's how his cards were dealt today, and you've got to play with the cards that you're dealt, and P5 was the best that he could have gotten today. Ace is in P6, Tinos in 7th with RJ Blair P8 in front of the home crowd. From 16th to 8th, he's not going to be complaining at all. Then come the 2 Mercedes of Kington and TDV Max in 9th and 10th. Pomme Alex P11 with Sumo in P12 with the fastest lap of the 34.263. Then the DNFs of One Wing, Harry Bix, KTFO and Lifebound, but One Wing, because he completed more than 90% of the race distance, is still classified. Not entirely sure if he will start at the front or start at the back for this race in Japan, but we'll have to wait and see and find out. But do not go anywhere at all. Go get yourself a cup of tea, go to the toilet, whatever it might be that you need to prepare. And then come back. And just a reminder, guys, in the Rocket Formula 4 Racing Stars Championship, I finished P3 for the first round with a great move around the outside of Maggots and Beckett's on the last lap of a 30-minute race. Just saying. If I haven't mentioned it enough, sorry. The clip's on my TikTok if you want to go and watch it. Commentary by Lewis McGlade as well, who wasn't looking at the race because he didn't have a broadcast feed and was looking at a fight for P12 and caught literally the tail end of it and then was like, Zach Sweeney. But yeah, besides the point, we love Lewis McGlade in the commentary booth. He's the Lewis McGlade. It's always an opportunity, a stellar opportunity to be able to commentate with him. I don't think Vardy's very happy. Ooh, feisty. That's fun. Who we got in there? We got 8 people. 0 likes. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. And we're getting ready to go racing again here in Suzuka. 13 laps. Last time we were here, actually, it was a while ago, I think. Can't remember the last time we were at Suzuka. I dashed towards turn 1, then up the S's. Hopefully, those on the wheel can take full advantage of that. The controller, it feels horrible to navigate those S's. from what I've heard. I've never done it myself on a controller, but there we go. As soon as I bring it up, 3 likes. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. Certainly going to have a a good TikTok after that first race. For sure. Right. They're all lined up. Of course, no qualifying as it is the reverse results of the USA Grand Prix. So Ghost is going to be at the back. In fact, well, he's going to be ahead of those that didn't finish the last race. I can see an Alfa Romeo. I think that's one wing. He's not going to be counted for pole because he technically did DNF. That's a shame. His car just couldn't have rolled a couple of feet further. No, it's an Alpine on pole. It's Sumo on pole. Even though his AI did the whole race, but that's besides the point. So yeah, it's going to be Sumo on pole. Pomay Alex, the People's Champion, alongside him in second place. Then comes TTV Max and Kington, both Mercedes locking up the second row with RJ Blair and Tinos, both Ferraris locking up the third row. Then Aces and Rick in 7th and 8th. LB comes home 9th with MX in P10. Jack Lacko P11 with Ghost in P12. And the 2 DNFs of One Wing and Lifebelt when we've lost both AlphaTauris who cannot be bothered to show up for the reverse grid race of race 2. Which isn't fantastic. But, you know, cheers for turning up for the first race, even if it was for only like 3 laps. Yeah, you can see it's quite a long lap here at Suzuka. The only figure of 8 circuit on the calendar as well. With some windy S sections. Those windy S sections reminded me of Maggots and Beckett's at Silverstone. I'll stop. The tyres, we've got pretty much the majority of people on the soft compound tyres with 5 on the mediums. Tinos, Aces and Rick all going for the alternate strategy, going longer in this first stint, switching onto the soft tyres with a lighter car and faster tyres, pretty much quali spec for the final few laps. But if there is an early safety car, it's going to be a big risk and they're not really going to know what to do. But yeah, then the rest of them, Ghost and One Wing as well, going for the alternate strategy. They've got to get through the traffic. They're in the same traffic as everyone else. Maybe they take the penalty of the slower tyre first, then with the clear air. Who knows? Anyway, Sumo, he's in this session, he's in the race, he's ready to go. We've got 10 people watching the start of race number 2, the reverse grid race, the one that we always look forward to. It's going to be hard to top the United States Grand Prix, though. It certainly set the standard, even in a season that has been as good as this one. 13 laps of racing ahead of us. The McLaren pulls alongside him 9 meters back for a long run in towards turns 1 and 2. Very tight, but also very fast. You've got to be careful on getting up the inside. Lifebelt rounds off the grid at the back. He's got 13 cars ahead of him, 13 cars between himself and the potential victory if he can get to the front quick enough. It's not Rick on pole. It's Sumo. 5 red lights are on. Race 2, the reverse grid race, is underway. Seems to be a pretty tentative start. A great one from Pommy Alex, though. The McLaren already alongside. Is he ahead of the Alpine? Both Mercedes getting swamped. That's Tinos trying to go around the outside. Sumo having to get out of the way for the McLaren, who comes back up the inside of turn 2. Max into third. Tinos and RJ Blair getting past one of the Mercedes of Kington. We've got yellow flags through the first sector. That's Aces being sent round. LB and Rick having to negotiate their way through pretty nicely. But it's Pommy Alex that leads from Sumo, Max, Tinos and Blair. Your top 5. Great start from both Ferrari. Ferraris working together, using their communication in order to get through a couple of drivers. Max as well getting past Sumo, who must have made a mistake, must have made an error, and allowed the youngster through into second place. Great start from him, a great start from Ghost as well, up a couple of places into P10, but he's going slow. He's got damage. Ghost has got front end damage and he's going slowly. That's ruined his race. He's going to be hoping for a safety car. Probably caught up in that contact, maybe with Aces. Something's happened. But again, great start from MX. Up a couple of places for him too. In order to, yeah, up 3 places already. He's just incredible on these first laps. Must be in Giovinazzi's car, but yeah. Seems to be all settled down for the time being, because Pome Alex seems to be doing enough at the front. I seriously hope he goes and gets his first win. But Max as well, we've got 2 drivers who have never won a race before in the sprint series. I think Alex has, actually. I think Alex has won a race, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to double check. Max certainly hasn't, though. It's a rarity to see these guys at the front of the field. They're here now. This is their opportunity. They've got Sumo, a seasoned veteran, chasing after him too. We'll have to see how this one pans out. This is LB to the inside of the Mercedes of Kington in towards turn 1. The fight for P7, and LB gets up the inside, claims the corner. Jobs are good, and now he can chase after MX and get his eyes forward. And Rick as well into the pit lane. What's happened to Rick? He's holding up Ghost. Absolute disaster for the Aston Martins in this reverse grid race. Max going a little bit wide. Sumo's going to try and launch a counter-attack into the 2 Degners through Dunlop. And then in towards Degner 1. Yellow flash through the first sector. That's RJ Blair. He's round and out of this Grand Prix. That's a VSC. That's got to be a VSC because he is parked in one of the fastest sections of the circuit, and also one of the blindest sections on the circuit. So VSC, I think, is the bare minimum for an incident like this. Ghost and Rick are begging and hoping that it's going to be a full course safety car, but I'm not quite sure that's how it's going to play out. But it gives everyone a chance. Yeah, really is. And you know, he tried to claw back some points, but MX was just so good, so consistent. We'll have to see. I want to have a look at what happened between Ghost and Aces. I think that's probably where the contact came from. The Aces was sent round, and everyone just sort of had to funnel in behind. But yeah, you can see Max closing up a lot to Pome Alex under the VSC. Really wants to get on with it. Pome Alex certainly does. As well. Lap 2 of 13, we go on to 3. DRS will be enabled this lap, and you can see Max using his DRS. That must mean we're going back racing shortly. DRS enabled, and Max isn't going to have the benefit of it down in towards turn 1, but he's certainly a lot closer than he was a couple of laps ago. Absolute nightmares for Aston Martin. You are entirely right, Vardy. But look at the 2 leaders. Max pushing the Australian in towards the S's. The Mercedes trying his absolute best to chase after his first win. He can see it. He's hungry. Pome Alex making a bit of a mistake as they all funnel their way up through the lefts, through the rights, through the lefts again, and then back through the rights, then the left of Dunlop, really, really flowing, and it's all about rhythm. You get one wrong, you get them all wrong. So you've got to be so precise through the Degner 1 into Degner 2, and then towards the hairpin. If Max can get a good run, he might be able to have a look up the inside if he's late enough and committed enough on the brakes. Is he going to go for it? Pome Alex having to dart his way to the apex in order to defend, but with no competition from the likes of MX or LB or Ghost or Rick or anyone. They're nowhere near them. These are the opportunities where people like MX and people like Max and people like Pome Alex really need to maximise. Same for Sumo perhaps as well. He's chasing after a victory this season. He wants a victory this season. In towards 130, and then the bus stop chicane at the end of the lap. You can see practically pushing him, and now Max pulls to the left-hand side. If he can keep it on the outside, it's the inside for the final bit. Pome Alex gives him the squeeze, but Max up the inside, still side by side. Bit of contact between the 2 race leaders, both chasing their victories. Here comes Sumo side by side with the Mercedes now down the pit straight. They're going to be 3 abreast, are they, towards turn 1. Pome Alex in the middle. Sumo takes the lead of the race, and Pome Alex just says, nah, I am backing out of this one. Max scared off the circuit though in towards turn 2, keeps the place. Pome Alex wants to get back involved with the fighting, but Sumo into the race lead of the Japanese Grand Prix, and Max is going to try and fight back. Pome Alex also trying to get involved. Max has a penalty though that could tarnish his race result, could knock him off the podium, in fact will knock him off the podium this race, which is really unfortunate. Can Sumo, now he's got the lead, hang on to it, or is Max going to put the pressure on? Is Pome Alex going to stay with him and try and launch an attack. He's got to. Surely he's got to. Max goes in deep. Pomealix going to try and get up the inside. Has the Mercedes got the foot down? Has he got that momentum side by side? Pomealix back up into second place. Has the run. It's the inside for the spoon curve. And he has got ahead. And he can tuck back into the racing line with no offence from the Mercedes, who does look up the inside. Sends one. He's going to launch it. There's contact. And then Max has been sent round. Desperate moves. Pomealix completely not in the wrong. Max has reset to the circuit as well. It's gone from bad to worse for the youngster. And now with that skirmish, Pomealix 1.3 seconds off Sumo. Needs to get moving. Needs to get pressing after him. Otherwise it will go to the hands of the Alpine. 1 second between LB and Tinos. In towards the bus stop chicane. Through the right. Through the left. And the Red Bull wants a podium. He was robbed of it in the USA. He wants it back now. The Ferrari under pressure. The Red Bull charging after him. That charging ball down in towards turn 1. Is he going to have to flinch to the right hand side? How late can he be? He has got himself ahead. Tino's going to come back at him with a switcheroo through turn 2. Has to back out. LB up into third place. Very nicely done. With one wing into the pit lane for a scheduled stop onto the softs. Kington on the back of MX, who seems to really be struggling. In fact, Kington is putting some pressure on him. Max is there also after getting going finally again, but struggling through Dunlop. Yeah, Max really aggressive through Spoon. I don't think he's really got anyone to blame but himself. It was a send into a fast corner. I don't really know what he was expecting. Not the wisest move from the youngster, but you know, the best teacher is seat time. Being in these race situations, having that experience, going wheel to wheel with someone, that is the best teacher. That's where you learn. It's all good doing 100 or so laps in time trial, going around mastering the circuit. If you don't know what to do in a race, if you don't know where the outside line is better, where the inside line is better, how late you can brake on the inside, what works, what doesn't work, you're not going to do very well in a race situation. So experience, race experience, is going to be the best teacher. And you know, the only way he can learn that is to race and be here, be a part of it, and make these mistakes, because that's going to build him to be even stronger. Tinos, as you say, Scott, should probably pit now. You can get a huge undercut on softs, and they will last. Pomealix, though, in the DRS of Sumo, chasing after him once more as we head towards halfway through this Japanese Grand Prix. But be careful, we've got LB charging through. He wants his first win of the season as well. Could be a three-way fight. It's going to be close. I think if Pomealix wants a chance of winning this race, he needs to get past Sumo, put a car between himself and LB, because Sumo's not going to give it up. Sumo is quick and Sumo is aggressive. He will keep that Red Bull behind for at least a lap or two. That's going to give Pomealix a lap or two breathing space. Ooh, a bit of a mistake though from the McLaren, just getting a bit desperate. LB now within DRS range as well, chasing after the two race leaders of the Alpine and the McLaren around about the pit stop window as well. They're probably going to come in. I don't think Tinos really is going to benefit as much as he probably wanted to. Of course, he's going to have the softs. He's going to be faster in theory than LB and MX and people of the sort. But as Scott said, if he could have had that one lap where he was significantly quicker than everyone else, would have been a lot better for him. LB 5 tenths back on the Australian, who might, I don't know, will he give it up and use LB as a way to get after Sumo? I mean, it's viable, but he's in DRS himself, is closing. Sumo's in, Pomealix stays out, LB's also in, so Pomealix going for a lap longer. He needs to nail this in lap. He's hoping that LB is on the back of Sumo and is pressing after him. A lot of drivers into the pit lane, including Tinos. Pomealix stays out. So no one else stays out. Acer stays out on the mediums, going longer. If there's a safety car right now, he's buzzing. This is the most important in-lap of Pomealix's life. Will it be a chance for the race win? Will it be a podium? He needs LB to put the pressure on Sumo, who is struggling out there at the moment, struggling to get those tyres up to temperature. If they battle, that's going to allow Pomealix maybe to get the overcut on Sumo and stay in front. That is dependent on LB and dependent on how long Pomealix stays out. It can't be for much longer, surely. In towards the first of two Degners. Quick flicks to the right. Both of them are really. You're not on the brakes for very long. There's a spin. That's Lifebout. He's and for Rick as well. We've caught Rick through Dunlop. Hammer into reverse onto the circuit. Ghost now coming through. Probably going to be a fight between these two for the top 10. Shame it's not for a higher up position as we saw them last time. But yeah, Rick just doing enough to stay in front for the moment. With Lifebout also struggling with hot tyres. He stays on the circuit for Dunlop though this time around. Fight for P3 rages on between Sumo and Ace, between Sumo and LB, I should say. Aces should be coming into the pit lane this lap. This is Pommy Alex. It's going to be a race against time between himself, Sumo, and LB. Who's going to come out on top? Pommy Alex now leaving his pit stall. He's halfway down the pit lane. Here comes Sumo and LB. They're coming down the pit lane. I think Pommy Alex might have this done. It's going to be very close. Now going to be able to disengage his pit limit. Are they going to be side by side on the exit? Don't forget, these guys are coming down at 200 miles an hour. There's Pommy Alex. LB's got the undercut too. And Pommy Alex down into P3. Very close. Very fine margins. I mean, Tinos is right here. Tinos is on the back for the fight for the race lead. Tinos benefited so well off that with MX trying to get past TTV Max. He is up there. He's on the back of the McLaren who has to get these tyres up to temperature. Tinos, maybe you could argue if he come in a lap earlier, could already be amongst the fight. But he's there. He's on the softs. He's put himself into this opportunity. He's chasing after it. We've got 4 cars ready to fight for the podium. Sumo under pressure from the Red Bull. This is the net race lead. When Aces comes into the pit lane, these are the ones that will lead the way. Sumo, LB, Pommy Alex and Tinos, your top 4. Then Kingston will be in the rounding off the top 5 through Spoon. The Red Bull getting after the Alpine. This back straight towards 130. No DRS, no drag reduction system assistance, but he's using everything he can just to close the gap a little bit, etching it here and there, chipping away at it, helping to put himself a little bit closer in towards the bus stop chicane. Pommy Alex drifting away, drifting out of the 1 second range. In fact, no, comes right back at him. Sumo going to be under a world of pressure. 3 second time penalty for LB, though. He's going to need to get through and go for these final 5 laps. Down the pit straight, Sumo going defensive. Even deeper goes the Red Bull to the right-hand side, and he's going to have to concede the inside to turn 1, and LB into the net race lead with a great move. Sumo went deep, LB went deeper, and now needs to get on with it. Now needs 3 seconds in hand. Ghost, that's the fastest lap. It's an extra point. In fact, I don't think anything's going to change. No, Ghost, I think, will stay in front. I'm not sure. They might be tied. It's going to be really close between them because at the moment they're 2 places apart. Ghost has the fastest lap, of course. That's an extra point for him. So I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll have to see how it pans out. Sumo already losing 1 second to LB. Surely it's going to be a done deal that LB carries on going. And gets in front. Pommy Alex under pressure from Tinos, who's going side by side with the McLaren on the run towards Spoon Curve. Ferrari versus McLaren, something we're very familiar with in 2021. But on this occasion, the soft compound tyres, the soft compound traction out of the hairpin has played into the hands of Tinos tonight, and he's up into P4, net P3, which is such a shame for Pommy Alex. Such a shame. And I really am gutted for him. But as a commentator, I'm not allowed to be biased. Lewis would have an absolute go at me. Ace is finally into the pit lane for his pit stop. He's going to lose a ton of places, but it was nice for him to lead a couple of laps in this Grand Prix. 1.4 the gap between Sumo and LB. 4/10 the gap between Tinos and Sumo. Pommy Alex being dragged along with the Ferrari as well. Tinos could win this. Tinos definitely has an opportunity of winning this. Pommy Alex as well is amongst the mix. If they don't let LB go, if they play it smart, think of the bigger picture, if they let LB go, none of them win. If they don't fight, they try and chase after the Red Bull. Maybe. But Tinos has the overarching pace at the moment. He's chasing after Sumo, and then once he's in front, we'll probably chase after LB2. Only 3 and a bit laps left to go. 3 and a third lap left to go in this race. Lap 11, 12 and 13. Tommy Alex there as well. Not out of the mix either. Do not count the Australian out for at least a podium perhaps. That penalty is going to be a burden on LB's shoulders. He's going to try his best to outdrive it. Deep into the bus stop chicane goes Tinos, nearly into the back of Sumo. It's going to really tarnish and hinder his momentum out of the corner, but Tommy Alex says no, you're faster, there's no point me going in front. Why should I go in front just to be overtaken a lap later, just to slow down Tinos when he can press forward, when he can put the pressure on Sumo? Great driving from the Australian, it must be said. Now Kington is here. He's ready to see what this is all about. He's like, oh, this seems pretty fun. Tinos fighting for the race lead. LB's got a penalty. I'm in the top 5. I want to join this train too. Let's have a bit of fun. 7 seconds back to MX. His teammate a couple of seconds back. It looks like the championship leader is struggling. Really hasn't been a day for our traditional front runners in this race 2 reverse grid race. 2 seconds between LB and Sumo. He is really trying to outdrive that penalty. Tinos needs to clear Sumo if he wants any chance of winning this race, because I think LB might be able to extend the gap. Sumo's driving brilliantly. Again, nearly fell over. Through the second part of Spoon, in the apex. Running the track out to the right hand side. He's got more ERS than Sumo. He doesn't want to waste it. He needs to use everything wisely and get it back in front. Sumo is driving so well in order to maintain that gap to LB2. Ghost has made 5 seconds. Where? Oh my word, yes he has. He's flying, despite Aces being on fresh softs. Ace is also trying to go past Max into the right-hander. We've had a spin of life bar through the S's once more. Ace is up the inside, but Tinos and Sumo going side by side. The outside line for the Ferrari and gets himself into second place. Sensational move from Tinos to seal the deal into second place. Now he can press on. Now he can get after. LB. Kington in front of Pommy Alex as well. Gets himself. Oh no, he's not. Pommy Alex avoids it. Kington's round. Calamity in the final stages for him. And what could have been a podium could now even lose out to MX as well. But unless Tinos puts some pressure on LB, I don't think it's going to be a podium for Pommy Alex. I think he's going to hang on. LB's driven brilliantly, apart from those couple of mistakes that cost him 3 seconds with the penalty. Tinos needs to use those softs before they start going off. A lap and a half left to go. The race at the moment is in his hands. It will be Tinos and his race win. His first race win of this season. I think his first race win ever. With the carnage that happened to Ghost, to Rick, to Aces, to MX. Pommy Alex, a 3-second penalty. That's ruined his chance of winning this race, which is a shame. He was the people's champion, is the people's champion. Sumo and Tinos though, is Sumo going to fight this? They've got 1 lap left to go. They've only got 3 tenths in hand to LB. Sumo, think about this. Think about this. For you, if you get in front, it's second place. If you don't get in front, it's also second place. As long as you can keep that gap to LB, it's going to be so close. I don't even know if Tinos is going to be able to do this. He needs to nail this lap. No mistakes. Needs to stay out of pressure from Sumo as they go in towards turn 2. Sumo over the curb. Yellow flags for sector 1. Life back really struggling to get to grips with the car, it seems. Tinos nearly out of the 3 seconds range. Look at that. It's a race against time between the two. LB pushing his absolute hardest to get his first win. Tinos pushing even harder in order to get his around Japan and Suzuka. 3.1 seconds. I think it might go LB's way unless he makes a mistake. He's got the ERS and he's got probably the quicker tyre at this point in time. Is it going to go LB's way? Is it going to go Tinos' way? Look at it, 3/100ths now, 1/10 of a second in it on the final lap. Half a lap to go. Jackalacco goes quickest with a 1:30.0. An extra point going to be going his way tonight. But look at it, 3.1. Tinos needs to nail this final sector. He's pulled away from Sumo. He's left Sumo in the dust. He's trying. 2/10 of a second between the Ferrari and the Red Bull into the final sector. Only 3 corners left of this Japanese Grand Prix. 3 seconds of LB between himself and Tinos. He's driven so well, and I think it's all over for Tinos. It's done and dusted. It's going to be second place, still a podium. 3 completely new drivers on the podium for this Japanese Grand Prix. LB from the back of the grid fought his way up. Even with that 3-second penalty, crosses the line, and we've got a new race winner of Season 6. The Red Bull brings it home with Tinos P2 and Sumo in P3. Pommy Alex, the People's Champion, in P4. Still a good result from the Australian, but it could have been more. Kington P5, good result for the Mercedes. MX P6, finished ahead of Ghost, and I think that's all he cares about at the moment. Then comes Aces in P7, One Wing 8th, and then comes Max in P9. Ghost gets him with penalties, so does Rick. 9th and 10th for the Aston Martin. And Lawson is going to be really, really chuffed with that. Jack Arco, we'll have to wait for him and wait for Lipa, who's already finished this race. We're going to have to wait for Jack Arco, who's got some screen time, so give us some donuts across the line. But he's probably not. He's going to be boring. He's just going to come across the line. Wants to get over and done with, wants to go home. Well, he's already home, but you know what I mean. Doesn't want this night to go on longer than it's needed to. A great second race to Suzuka as well. LB driver of the day, very deservedly so. And we'll go through the final running order of today's Japanese Grand Prix, the reverse grid race. 3 completely new drivers on the podium for Season 6. Something we don't often see, but it's been just adds to the fact how good this season has been. And why I do love the Sunday Night Sprint Championship. But it is LB on pole from 9th on the grid with a 3-second penalty. Managed to pull that gap on the final lap. It was nail-biting stuff, and he just managed to rob Tinos of his maiden victory in the Ferrari. P2, still a great drive from him with Sumo P3. Still a podium and not a bad result. Then comes Pommy Alex, the People's Champion in the McLaren. Still P4, a great result. His best so far of the season. He's always so close to that podium though, and one day I really do hope he gets it. Kington in the Mercedes P5 with MX P6. Crucially, as I said, finishing ahead of Ghost and gaining some more points back despite the hardships that he's had tonight. But he's capitalised more so than Ghost, who's had his own set of mishaps tonight. Aces in P7 with One Wing P8. Ghost and Rick come home 9th and 10th for Aston Martin with TDV Max in P11. Unfortunately for him, could have been more, could have been a podium. Arguably, he had the pace, just a little bit too desperate. Then comes Jack Lacko and Lifeboat 12th and 13th. And our DNF, our lone DNF, was RJ Blair. Unfortunately, the American driver having a bit of a moment. And was now, didn't reach the checker flag, unfortunately. Didn't even make it to the first round of pit stops either. But, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say thank you so much for joining me for tonight's race. We've now crossed the halfway mark. And we've got 4 races, 2 rounds, 2 weeks until the championship finale for Season 6. Will it be MX? Will it be Ghost? Or will it be Rick that seals the deal and claims their title? We've got MX, a Tier 1 champion. Rick, a newcomer, trying to fight for his first championship. He's come so close on many occasions. And then we've got Ghost, the sprint master, 3-time champion, going for a 4th. Can he do it? Will he do it? We'll find out in 2 weeks' time. But in the meantime, we've got a race in the middle, and I'll see you in a week's time for that race. It will be me in the commentary booth, Zach Sweeney, if you didn't guess by the title name of the channel. But I will say thank you very much. Have a fantastic evening, have a fantastic week. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.